Hello my friends, I hope you're doing great. We have some of the amazing news coming from the Kursk Oblast, Russian Federation. You might see a Russian military airfield that was visited by Ukrainian drones. So it was a Ukrainian surveillance drone that was flying there and also Ukrainian kamikaze drones which performed the job. And the job itself was the kaboom of a Russian fighter jet MiG-29. Actually, there are two of the airplanes, one and another one, but one was hit for sure. An estimate price of this Soviet jet is around $25 million. Russia still modernizes those airplanes, and there was the hit, you saw it. Plus, there was the Russian air defense system that needs air defense itself, Panzer S-1. It was kaputted also by another Ukrainian drone strike. And the fact that it was happening roughly 100 kilometers away from the Ukrainian border tells a lot. And you see, it's definitely Panzer S-1. Russia tries to protect it with the help of this some sort of the barrier, but it didn't help and the system went kaboom. As for the strike, Ukraine used Ram X-2 drones. Sometimes they have one propeller, sometimes two. Depends on modification. Well, this one was intercepted by Russian interceptors. Well, before it's just an image for you to show what kind of the drones are being used. So they're very similar to the Russian Lancets, but Ram-2X has better characteristics as for the range, and the aiming equipment is more precise, and also communication. Ram-2X is the joint product of Germany and Ukraine. There are German technologies, German investments, and also Ukrainian ones. And the drone itself, it is successful. The only thing that Ukraine needs to upscale the production of the drones like that. For now, Ukraine has an absolute zoo of the drones. Some of them are good, some of them are not. So when Mikhailo Fedorov was the defense minister of Ukraine, he wanted to structure everything of that. Well, nevertheless, the drones are fantastic and they're working also against Russian logistics. So, for example, this is the queue of the Russian trucks to reach the Chongar Bridge. It is not working fully. Russia put the Ponton Bridge nearby and it creates those traffic jams and queues to pass the bridge. Because the Ponton Bridge is very narrow, so it works in one direction only. And let's watch this video. It shows how Ukrainian drone visited this Russian queue. It's not Ram-2X, it was a different type, maybe Hornet, maybe not. So you see, it is Shahid looking like, maybe Behemoth or something. It carries lots of the payload, and this is the aftermath of the strike. Sorry, I cannot show you the exact kaboom, but there were some of them, let's say, circumstances for this Russian convoy that was obliterated on the way, at least partially. There were two of the drone strikes altogether. My friends, just a short reminder for you, but it's very important for the channel. Please like this video just right now while you're watching it, and also subscribe for the channel. We are on our way to reach 1 million subscribers. Hopefully it's gonna be this year. And if you can, of course, you may support my job on Patreon. The link for it is in the video description right below, or press join button to join membership of YouTube channel if you watch me on YouTube. You are making this content possible with your kind support. My friends, you are just awesome. And let's continue with the video. Alright, Kalen Robertson today finally published the interview with Magyar, and Magyar says about those strikes in Crimea. So definitely the idea is to choke this peninsula, to cut all of the supplies. But Magyar also says, I once again apologize to all people of Crimea, to Ukrainians, for the hardship they are currently forced to endure. For now, however, Brody's main objective is to make Russia start devouring itself from within. And it must be said, he is doing a pretty good job of it. So they understand that for people it's complicated to live in peninsula. That's why I would also leave Crimea, because it's very, very hard to live there. But Ukraine has no other way, because Crimea was used, or is used still, by the Russian army. And Ukraine's idea is to cut supplies from peninsula and to peninsula. For now, the Kerch Bridge is still alive. Magyar says it's for Russians to leave peninsula, and in the future, I believe Ukraine will cut that connection too. And relative to that, we have an announcement of the new special military operation of Ukrainian drone army. It is called Conductor. Military News UA shared this information that the Special Operation Forces of Ukraine have struck 13 railway bridges The enemy's key logistical arteries, details follow. So I guess those are the new strikes and upcoming. So Ukraine, after all, turns against the supply connections in the northern part of peninsula as well. And it's a good turn of events, because before we know from our military guys, officers, and from our volunteers that Syrsky himself personally stopped those operations to hit the bridges in Crimea, because Syrsky personally doesn't like the commander who organized those strikes. And just because of that, Russia managed to repair almost all of the bridges, or they put alternates like pontoon bridges or something else. But now it seems like the strikes have resumed, and I am waiting for the more visual details confirmation, because Ukrainian armed forces report about 13 bridges kaboom, railway bridges mostly. And the interesting thing about the railway bridges that you cannot repair them that easily as the usual bridges. And guys, this is the same road R280 that goes from Rostov-on-Don to Crimea, and it was reported by Russian officials to Putin directly on camera 2 days ago that the road is completely safe and under their control, that everything is alright. And you see a convoy of the fuel trucks and this commercial truck as well. And what happens? Ukrainian Luftwaffe drone group visits those trucks. Yeah, at least one drone hit the vehicle. Yeah, of course, it's better to kiss a forward vehicle, but here it's also like a very interesting outcome. So the road is absolutely not safe, and Russian companies still refuse to operate there. There are some of the separate contracts with private small companies, with drivers, but the more Ukraine hits their trucks, the more they will understand that operating in Crimea, even for a huge sum of money, doesn't worth losing life. And the Russian milk bloggers continue to mock their own officials of those temporary occupied territories, who just 2 days ago reported to Putin that everything is under control, all of the logistics works fine. They say here, oh, that is how the total control over the road looks like, and they are sharing at the same post those videos of the same convoy that was kaboomed by Ukrainian drone, the video that I've showed you. So this is the aftermath that I cannot show you here, but the convoy was partially devastated. There were lots of the trucks, at least 2 were cancelled, and sadly a couple of the vehicles nearby. So the only variant for Russians to stay alright is to live in Russia, and it's better behind Ural Mountains, where Ukrainian drones for now are not flying. One more drone video compilation we have from Magyar army, and this is the electronic warfare on the top of this UAZ vehicle. It doesn't help. More vehicles were identified, so those videos are coming day after day after day, tons of those, with the Russian supplies being hit close to the front lines and far away from the front lines. Well, sometimes Russian mobile anti-drone teams, they're successful in shutting down Ukrainian drones. Let me show you one example. Well, that's the civilian vehicle, and the drone is flying. Well, it's not aiming to the civilian vehicle, it's just flying along the road, but those people are stupid if they go to the car by the time, like, everything might happen, yeah? Well, luckily for them, they're not the target for Ukrainian drone operators, but everything could be like, still this decision to go into the car, then you see the drone, like, it's better to go to the bushes. It's this. Okay. But here you see the Russian mobile air defense group. They appear like some of the superhero from Marvels. I'm gonna like mess with this evil drone right away, yeah?
Вон из пулемет, блядь, ёбаный, он на них пошел. Блядь, ёбаный, блядь, стреляйте, ёптать. Вон он заходит, смог зашел.
And should I show? Well, this guy was faster, this guy was kind of late, and this is the drone, okay? So for you to understand, and just blurred a little bit here, but you understand, yeah, what happened there. The Russian mobile air defense group managed to demolish the drone. Well, Ukraine not just cuts Russian logistics, but also Russian ammunition storages and other storages. This was a big kaboom in occupied Mariupol. Something is burning there, and those are not the buildings, it was the big storage of something. It could be oil or something different, but it burns really well. Alright, now to the long-range strikes. This is Lipetsk. We have some of the interesting images. This is the industrial facility. I think it's not connected to the Russian oil, but to some of the production. And the production was definitely hit, and it is burning out there, a smaller volcano, but still a volcano. Eyewitnesses are filming it. There were multiple of the drone strikes. That's the Lipetsk cloud. The special operation goes according to plan as usual. Alright, Ukraine is testing those balloons to launch the drones, it seems like, or maybe depends on the wind. Those drones could fly or float to the Russian territory and then drop down, which might increase the range, I guess, or the signal perception. So Ukraine is working to implement or to test this technology. And look at this bag. It is also kind of useful for Russians here, how many of the soldiers they may put inside. Okay, yesterday and the day before yesterday I've told you about Ukrainian soldiers who were imprisoned, while Ukraine also imprisoned some of Russian soldiers, to be precise 64.
Товарищ зарезал флаг, повесить.
So this guy tells that they performed the flag operation and many of the flag operations, and basically Ukraine captured them one by one, but the larger group of people accumulated in several of the buildings in one of the villages, they decided to surrender. So they go with the flags, they show them, and then they try to get more forces to the same spot, and then again move with the flag operations. And they just didn't want to continue because after all they could be flatlined by Ukrainian drone at any time with their risky operation. Now around 9 out of 10 Russian flag soldiers are being cancelled, not reaching even the flag position. Ryobka retweeted it, say hello to 64 Russian soldiers that liberated 5 Ukrainian villages west of Gulyapole in Zaporizhia region. And I've told you about a small Ukrainian counteroffensive there, so probably it was successful. Ukrainian infantry went to the village and liberated truly it, capturing all of the Russian soldiers. At least 64 survivals of the Russian General Staff PR strategy to capture more Ukrainian land with flags. Well, it's the usual Soviet tactics for the Russian army, right? But again, I tell you that sometimes it might also happen in Ukraine, like in the case with Konstantinivka with those Syrsky-Zelensky portraits. This is stupid as in the Russian army, and well, we have some of the breaking news, by the way, my friends. It seems like some of the main decision is being announced now. Turn off events. Presidential communication advisor Dmitry Litvin in President's office of Zelensky said that decisive meeting has been ended and another is on the way. He said the official communication will follow immediately once decisions are made. So I think that Syrsky will go. Probably heard the name of the new general commander of Ukrainian army. I just hope, because people got tired of those kind of the operations. Well, they're coming from the Russian side, but seeing those, the same ones from Ukraine, it is freaking terrible. Meanwhile, Russians are saying that they revenge for wildberries hitting Ukrainian storages, and this one was a UNICEF warehouse. With the humanitarian aid for Ukrainian children worth 3.9 million destroyed, Lubinets says. So United Nations vehicle is there, some of the trucks with painting, so I guess definitely it's like that, it's UNICEF warehouse. Also, Russia yesterday has destroyed a Ukrainian epicenter. That's the hypermarket for not grocery stores or something. It's like the hardware for the house, for the furniture, for some of the tools, like very big shop like that. It's not the analog of the Wildberries, it's some sort of the Walmart, just for you to understand. Yeah, of course it also hits Ukrainian business, Ukrainian economy, but not as much as Ukrainian strikes on Wildberries, and it's not the first time Russia strikes epicenter. Even in 2022, Russia has destroyed at least 2 of the epicenters. One was the big mall in Kiev. So that's what Russia strikes, and it doesn't matter whether Ukraine hits Wildberries or something else in Russia. Even before Russia hit all of that infrastructure, so Ukraine responds actually with the same measures. Also, Russians continue to attack ships operating in Ukrainian ports, mainly Odessa, sometimes Reni. Well, Russians are using Giran drone for this one. Well, if before they just programmed the drones to fly to the stationary targets, now they have some of the navigation. And since we see this video, sometimes it's bad quality, sometimes kind of good as this one, it means that Russia has technologies to guide their drones to the target. And also they transmit a reliable signal. How they do it, it's hard to tell, but Crimea is not that far away, and Russians might launch some of the transmitter drone far away to the skies and retransmit the signal to operate those ground drones to hit commercial vessels. So far, Russians have no technology as Starlink, and it is visible because they cannot reach all of the Ukrainian territory with the drones, just the areas close to their own territories or to the occupied regions of Ukraine. Belarus also had those transmitters and special radars. Well, after negotiations, it seems like Belarus switched them off.
Девочки, мне чуть-чуть что-то непонятно и чуть-чуть страшно. Почему мы летим украинским самолетом? Мы летим с Германии украинским самолетом.
I didn't know that our airlines, they're flying on Ukrainian airplanes and operating from Germany to Turkey. And the Russians are also shocked, like those Russian ladies. Well, I think that it's Annex Tour company, and it's definitely a Ukrainian airplane. It's a VHIT exit, so it's there. And those Russians, how did they get to Germany? Maybe they live there, but I know this airplane, actually. This is Boeing 777, and this is this airplane. It took off from Boryspil in 2023, spending lots of the time on parking stand. And I know the pilot who landed this aircraft right on February 24th, 2022, just half an hour before the full-scale Russian attack on Ukraine. Well, luckily the plane got the special permission to take off from Boryspil and continue its operation. And it's great that Ukrainian pilots, Ukrainian flight attendants, and airline affiliated with Ukraine continue its job. The airline is registered in Ukraine together with this airplane, but it operates with Turkish capital. So it's basically Annex Tour affiliated company. But this lady with the lips, she was quite shocked. Like, we are flying on Ukrainian airplane. I'm scared. Don't be scared about Ukrainian planes. Those are not Ukrainian drones. Yeah, just some of the fun video I thought and wanted to share it with you. Well guys, that's all what I want to say in this video. Stand by for more updates and please support my job if you can, of course, on Patreon. The link for it is in the video description right below, or join membership of YouTube channel by pressing button join. Guys, you're amazing. Thank you so much for making this content possible. And also don't forget to press like to this video, subscribe to the channel. I wish you all a peaceful sky wherever you are and have a great time.